Hey guys, obviously all anybody's talking about today is the big beautiful bill, and I thought I'd give my 2 cents as an AI researcher. And those 2 cents really are this is going to throw gasoline on the transition, on the AI sort of political economy transition, and really not in a good way. I think it's going to make the chances of a transition to smooth transition to a new AI infused labor economy really a lot more difficult. And the reason I think that is it modifies the bill, the big beautiful bill modifies in some very important ways how tech firms can spend on research and experimentation, research and development on AI, while also really undercutting the poorest people in our society. So what the previous Trump tax cuts did was allow tech firms and AI firms to amortize is what you would call it. If you spend on research and development or research and experimentation, as they kind of define it, you can over I think a 4 or 5 year period use that capital expenditure and kind of write that off on your firm's tax bill. What this big beautiful bill does is basically make that available to tech firms on a much shorter period of time. You can now do that all in like a 1 year time frame. So what we're going to see is this constant tension in tech firms between chief financial officer and chief technology officer become, I think, smoothed out a bit. There's going to be more common ground there because that R&E spending can now be, that CapEx can now be written off of the taxes of the firm, and we're going to see kind of an explosion in especially domestic R&E or R&D for tech companies. In and of itself, I think this is actually kind of a good provision in the sense that like we should be, if we want to be a leader in AI globally, we should be fomenting or kind of fostering that investment, and that's always something we should be trying to do. Unfortunately, at the same time that we're doing that, we're kind of, again, throwing gasoline on this transition, really empowering these firms to do this fundamental research. We're also cutting, probably 16, maybe up to 20 million people off of Medicaid, right? So we're hurting the poorest people in society as we're helping the people on the bleeding edge of the most bleeding edge sector in our economy. So I think it's an inflection on what you hear most people's analysis of this bill to be, which is it's a bill that helps the rich and hurts the poor. It helps the winners and hurts the losers. No one's winning more right now in our economy than tech companies, AI researchers, and no one's hurting more, obviously, than people on Medicaid. And this is going to make it better for the people who need the least help and make it worse on the people who need the most help. And this is said as somebody in the tech industry who's relatively excited about some of these research provisions. So definitely curious for your thoughts on it from a Medicaid perspective, from a tech perspective. Let me know in the comments down below, and appreciate it as always.